think you need to hear me out on this point of view. But Tottenham Hotspur have to stick with Thomas Frank. I know I am going to be in the minority by saying this, and I know I might sound like I'm crazy, but I promise you, Tottenham Hotspur need to stick with Thomas Frank. Like, I've been looking at it since, of course, the fallout for the Fulham game. I didn't actually watch the whole of the Fulham game, but of course, I know what's happened, and um, I completely understand it. Like, you can't be losing at home to Fulham. And of course, the way we got beat up by Arsenal as well it was hurting. It was embarrassing. Like, some of them things I understand are things that could, like, the what do they call it, the straw that broke the camel's back, whatever that saying is. Um, them two games alone could arguably be the end of a manager, but Tottenham Hotspur need to stick with Thomas Frank. Let me take you back to when we sacked Ange Postecoglou. Fair or not, we're not going to get into it because that's done now. But when it got appointed Thomas Frank, of course he was making a massive step up. But every Tottenham fan said, "This guy's a good manager. He's the manager." Like, what we brought him in for. If you look at what he built at Brentford, he was there for what, 8 seasons? I don't know, 8, 7 seasons, whatever it was. And of course, he was assistant manager before, but he managed to build a project with Brentford, and we all said Tottenham Hotspur need to build this project with Thomas Frank. So even just looking at projects, remember this saying: trust the process. And of course, we don't want to talk about it because it came from them lot down the road, but there's very parallel situations here because Vinay Venkateshan, the man that was obviously, I'm guessing he didn't just hire Mikel Arteta by himself, but he was one of the key decision makers in bringing Mikel Arteta to Arsenal. And look at the project they built with him. They gave him time, and they were on the cusp. As much as I hate saying it, and I hope it does not happen, but they are on the cusp of doing something amazing. And they're an amazing team at the minute. They're currently the best team in the country. And that's all because Mikel Arteta was afforded time at Arsenal. Now, there were so many bad situations. I know I'm not here to be talking up Arsenal, and this is the worst thing we need to do, but I just think it's the biggest parallel we can draw. And because the man who ultimately is going to be in charge of now making the decisions at Tottenham was in charge of the same decisions at Arsenal when they had plenty of times to sack him. There were so many times where Arsenal got battered. Their fans, let's be honest, they're the most toxic as well, so fans do have a big saying in the club. But there was a lot of times when it was Arteta out. And look at them now. They're literally on the cusp of doing something crazy. And the worst thing about it is Mikel Arteta was going into his first job. So Thomas Frank has got a head start of his time at Brombury, his time at whatever Treasure Extract. I can't pronounce it. So if anyone knows how to say it, let me know. Whatever that team was. And Brentford. And let's be honest, he done amazing things at Brentford. No one can deny that. No one can deny that. And so he sort of got a head start on Mikel Arteta. So the fact that we brought in Thomas Frank as a project manager and we're giving him, when did he come in? July? We're not going to count it. Let's count from the start of the Premier season. August, September, October, November. 4 months, literally 4 months. We're at the start of December now. So if we were to sack him, let's say, we're going to go to Newcastle tonight and get battered. That's my expectation anyway. So I know it's sounding crazy because we're gonna come back tonight, and I'm expecting us to lose anyway, me personally. But obviously, I'm one of the realer ones. But so anything we go and pull there is a bonus. But either way, I don't think we're winning there because Spurs' record at Newcastle is awful. So the fact that I'm expecting us in one of our lowest moments to go there and win is crazy. So if we do, it will be even more happy. But obviously after tonight it's going to get even more toxic, and if we were to sack Thomas Frank, I just think it's an absolute mistake in the long term. Consider it to investing money. Like, when you put money in, everyone's just like, yeah, I want, like, let's say you put down £1,000 and someone told you, okay, in 10 years, obviously I'm not saying I'm giving Thomas Frank 10 years, but let's say in 5 years your £1,000 is going to be £100,000. Like, you can't be straight 4 months in saying, nah, I want all the money now. Give me all the money now. Like, it doesn't work like that. That's how investments work. And this is an investment into a manager that we all know is he's got. I'm not saying he's a top manager, but you never know until you get to the top level, and that's how you make it as a top manager. But in the Premier League, he had Brentford competing week in, week out. So we know he can do it in the Premier League, which is massive because managers like Ange Postecoglou that we've had in the past, a lot of the stick that people used to want to beat him with was he's got no Premier experience. He gets found out. So now that we've got a manager that can tactically adjust, and I'm not for once saying that him not tactically adjusting, like being too he adjusts too much. So it's one of them ones we can say, oh, but he doesn't have a style, blah blah blah. But and these are some things that he's going to have to improve. And of course, you find out more about yourself. You don't get to this level of the Premier League without learning new things and wanting to adapt. And I think he's going to obviously stick to it, but he's still got to work his way through it. If you look through even the summer signings, Mohamed Kudus has probably been the best. Not even probably, he's been by far the best. But he was a manager's top target, or one of the top targets anyway. Hence why he was brought in on big money and stuff like that. Um, Even if you look at the goalkeeper situation, it's not even a goalkeeper that he's brought in. Whatever you think about Vicario, like Thomas Frank might still come in there and be like, okay, we can upgrade that, but it's not the upgrade that we need straight away. So let me address other parts of the team. So he's still got to build. Come on, like we're blaming Vicario, saying Vicario's bad. He didn't sign him. I rate Pedro Porro, but a lot of fans say Pedro Porro needs to go now. He didn't sign him. Christian Romero, as good as he is, he didn't sign him. Kevin Danso came in. He didn't sign him. Mickey Van der Ven, outstanding. I'm so sure he's so happy with that. We've got Udogi, and obviously it's not it's common. He didn't sign any of these players. Paulinho looks so good, but you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to go through the whole team, but even if you look at things like that, all of these players that are in the squad are not his players. So that's another thing you got to add to it. So I say that to say, like, come on, we have to give him more time. I think we have to give him at least 2 years. Like, at least 2 years. We have to give him the same time that Ange Postecoglou got, because in 2 years, Ange Postecoglou promised us a trophy and we got one. And I just think, yes, it's like any relationship. Anything in life, you're going to go through some very, very bad, dark days. That Arsenal game was very dark. And then the Fulham game, I didn't watch it, so it's not as dark for me. So the one that hurt me the most was the Arsenal game. And as I said, yes, I understand why you want it to end now, because sometimes when you're in so much pain, you just want it to end. But when you make it through the pain, it feels even better. So that's why I think we need to stick with Thomas Frank. Look, I don't know. I know I'm definitely in the minority, but I feel like people need to hear me out on this, because we have to look at the Arsenal down the road. As much as I said, it pains me to say that. It pains me to say that, and I've got everything crossed that somehow they do not win the league or the Champions League or just another trophy, because I never want them to be successful anyway. But they stuck with a manager who arguably had multiple occasions where he should have been sacked. And they look like they're doing something because they built a project around a man, because they believed in what this man could do, and they did not give up on him. Just sometimes when it gets dicey. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Should he be gone? Them games sackable offences. I think I might have said that in a review, but come on, your head is hot sometimes. Like, your head is hot sometimes. But I think Spurs need to stick with Thomas Frank. Like, and as I say, I know we're going to Newcastle today. It's my birthday, so I'm not even watching the game tonight. I'll probably watch it on my phone in the restaurant. But of course, I'm going to be celebrating. But Spurs need to. We're going to lose tonight, and then it's going to be even worse. And I just fear the worst that he might get. I don't think he will, because as I say, Vinay's at the club. It's just a time for cool heads. But I tell you what, Brentford on the weekend will be Thomas Frank's biggest game of his career. Biggest game of his Tottenham Hotspur career. As much as that sounds weird, that's just going to be one of it. But I'll probably do a preview on that closer to the time. But just let me know, man. Honestly, I think Thomas Frank's got to stay. At least, come on, you got to give him more windows. We've got to bring in players in. He's had one window, and we can argue Kudus is coming. excellent. Xavi Simons still adjusting to the Premier League. So now Thomas Frank's thinking, this guy that I'm spending all this money on, who, let's not all lie and say Xavi Simons was not an absolute wonder. If someone offered you, any Tottenham fan, seeing as the way we've come up, I offered you at the start of the window Xavi Simons, you would have taken him. So we shouldn't say, like, come on, we're blaming Thomas Frank for players not even adapting. I don't even know what the word is, but you know what I mean. Like, there's so many moving parts. We haven't got a left winger. He's just left Son, a club captain, a player who I hounded, not hounded at the club, but I thought it was time. But maybe Son should have stayed as well. And I'm hearing a lot of people saying that. So don't forget, we gave Ange Postecoglou the pass when he lost Harry Kane, and we've arguably lost a bigger legend. Me personally, Harry Kane's my favourite Spurs player ever. Just because I've grown up in the era of him, but Son is obviously got to be second, and Son is a man that brought a trophy as well. So I'm not doubting if anyone wants to say Son's a bigger legend, but to add that in, you've lost one of the two biggest legends in the club's recent history, and we're just expecting you to work miracles. Like, Kulusevski's out. Let's not forget that Kulusevski is an absolute baller, and we're missing him so much. Solanke, I can't wait to see Solanke and Kolo Muani play together, because two strikers that can actually play football. Obviously, as much as I love Richarlison, let's be honest, Richarlison isn't the greatest as well. So we're asking a man to do miracles when it's not really his squad yet. So that's something you've got to go through the pain of doing, getting players out, bringing new players in. Do you see what I mean? Like, I just hope Spurs don't sack Thomas Frank. And I want to leave this here, because if the worst comes to worst, which could happen, we've been to Newcastle. What did we lose to them this season? 2-1. They've pumped us 4-0. Remember when Isak made turned Van der Ven into a meme? When has that ever happened? Like, that happened at St. James's Park. So I could easily see us getting battered tonight. And then, and let's say we lose again to Brentford at home, it can get real toxic, and that could be it. But like, I just think we need to take stock. Like, we need to take stock and think about this. We need to back Thomas Frank. We need to give him more time. Like, honestly, we have to. And I just hope we do the right thing. I hope Vinay Venkatesan, if you're watching, Vinay, if you're watching as well, maybe drop a subscribe. Let's be honest, he's not. But anyone else watching, right? Like, comment, subscribe, of course. But we need to give him time. We honestly need to give him time. So, of course, I'll be out tomorrow. No, tonight. So, depending, maybe I might do a review after, drop it anyway, because it'll be late night. So, I don't know. If not, we'll do it tomorrow. Talk about the Newcastle game and what that means. But Spurs need to back Thomas Frank. But honestly, like, comment, subscribe if you're new here. Please hit me up in the comments, because we need this interaction. I need to know what everyone else is thinking. Surely I'm speaking to you as well. Like, let me know what you think in the comments. We'll be back. Good luck, Spurs, tonight as well. Good luck. I'm praying we do something, because if we do put in a good performance, it could be the turning point of Thomas Frank, and that would be lovely to see, because maybe it would help push my case a little bit. But yeah, we'll be back. Peace and love. Come on, you Spurs.